Pokemon! Ugh. Overlevel your starter, beat up champion, get the reward candy, and me. But there exists within the tryhard epic swag Pokemon community a challenge. This challenge is called the Pokemon Nuzlocke. Now these Pokemon Nuzlockes are a bit more my speed. A Nuzlocke is a set of rules designed to make the story harder. Now every Nuzlocke has 3 rules in common. You may only catch the first wild Pokemon you encounter per area. If a Pokemon faints, they are dead and may not be used anymore in the run. And finally, I have to name all the Pokemon I get to form stronger bonds with them, or to make me feel worse when I lose one. Those were only the basic rules of a Nuzlocke. Because I'm a testosterone-flooded, seasoned Pokemon gamer, I have added 2 more rules to mix. I can't use any items in battle like potions, X-Buffs, or Pokedolls, and I can only level up my Pokemon 2 levels above the next boss's highest level Pokemon. To keep this a blind run, I use a spoiler-free table to show what my level cap is. So with this Dashy intro finally being over with, here is my very first Pokemon Nuzlocke. So this game starts off like every other Pokemon game. Greet your hot mom, old dude barges into your house to talk about nothing, and you're greeted with a major choice that could affect how you play the rest of the game. Choosing your starter. Now our starter options for this region are the Glamour Duck Quacks, the Grass Kitty Sprigatito, and the Apple Croc Coco. Now I had already made up my mind as to who I wanted for this journey. Drum roll please. It's Sprigatito. I mean, come on. It's the best looking out of the 3 in my opinion. My professional opinion, that is. So I chose Sprigatito and named it Rennala, not knowing it was a boy. So now I have a boy cat with a girl's name.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
I also met my future rival and next door neighbor Nemona, who immediately challenged me to a battle with the starter who was weak to mine. So you can probably tell how this battle went. It's over. After that, I went to the first route to get my first encounter. Lechonk, the normal type, to which I promptly named Spider Pig. I also found the dude from the box art, who led me to a cave, and also to this dude named Arven, who thought it would be a good idea to challenge me with his level 5 Squovet. He got the same treatment as Nemona. Now before heading into the main town, I had caught a Ralts and named it Serenity, and then immediately regretted having my first encounter be a Ralts, because I found something amazing. Oh, it's a flamingo. Flamingo. Oh no. Hey, you get away from me, Jesus. It almost killed my starter. This was gonna be a long run. So I changed my fit and was challenged by Nemona again, just before I got into town. This time she cheated by terrestrializing her Pokemon, which I didn't have the ability to match, but I still pulled through. Now this is a big town, and I'm gonna speedrun everything that happens here. Help a girl named Penny fight off the Pokemon Mafia of this region, get the Terror Orb, meet the Professor, and get all 3 main quest lines. And we're off. So it looks like my first stop will be the bug-type gym leader, Katie. But before I head there's a couple places that I could get an encounter from. So from the cave Miraidon took me through earlier, I didn't actually get anything or encounter anything. So I went back and caught a Houndour named Charles. And in the South Province area 2, where the gym is located, I climbed a tower and found a chest just for it to be a mimic from Dark Souls and named it Phantom. This Pokemon's called Gimmighoul. It's a pure ghost-type Pokemon, and its only moves are Tackle and Astonish. 2 really underwhelming moves. Oh boy. But hey, I've been lucky so far. I have 5 Pokemon and no one's died yet. But knowing my luck, that's all about a change. When I was training my team for the first gym battle, I faced a trainer with a Gible. Now, this wasn't too much of a problem knowing I have a Fairy type, which is super effective against Dragon types, but this Gible's moveset is made to take something down with it. This Gible started with the move Sand Tomb, which traps the target, making it unable to switch out, and it also deals chip damage over time. It also has the move Sand Attack, which lowers the accuracy of the enemy. Now normally this wouldn't be too bad if I didn't miss 2 Hypnosises in a row. Then, after 1 Sand Attack, miss 2 Draining Kisses in a row. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm sorry, Serenity. Your time was short on my team, but I will not forget you and the sacrifice you made. Time to add the first names to the Death Note! Now down a Pokemon, I had to replace what was lost, and I decided to get a new encounter from the South Province, Area 3, where I found a Char Cadet that I named Joust, and soon after, Rennala evolved into a Florigato. With these team changes, I felt much more confident going into the first gym, but I had to complete their gym challenge first, which was just rolling a large olive into a basket, and maybe fighting some trainers for some shortcuts. But it was finally time for my first gym battle. Okay, first boss, my first Nuzlocke. Not nervous at all. Okay, commentary. So, Katie, the baker and bug type specialist, leads with her Nimble while I lead with Phantom. Thankfully, this matchup is positive for me because Nimble uses Struggle Bug, which activates Phantom's ability that raises its speed when it's hit by a Dark Ghost or Bug type move. This allows Phantom to outspeed and pick up the KO on her Nimble. Her next Pokemon is Torrentula, so I swap in Charles for the favorable type matchup, and he's almost able to one-tap it, but it uses Bug Bite and steals my Oranberry that I gave Charles. Unfortunate, but I'm still in a great position. Her last Pokemon is a Teddiursa, which kind of confused me at the beginning, but I kind of picked up what was happening. So I swap in Joust, and sure enough, she terrestrializes her Teddiursa into a Bug type, while I terrestrialize Joust into a Fire type to deal extra fire damage. Teddiursa uses Fury Swipes, which takes me down to about half, and Joust Ember gets a crazy lucky burn on the Teddiursa, which allows me to stay in without worry because her attack has been decreased, and Joust picks up the KO for the win. Oh my goodness. First gym down with no casualties, not bad. And I got this nice picture and a snack. So with one gym badge down, my next up on my hit list was the Stony Cliff Titan. Now I know this is a blind run and all, but they kind of revealed this Pokemon in the trailers, and from what I know, this thing can be pretty dangerous. The Titan is of a new Pokemon called Klawf. Klawf is a pure rock type, and this is already a problem considering that half my team is weak to rock, and the only one on my team who can hit it super effectively is Rennala. So she's gonna have to carry. Klawf also has the unique ability Anger Shell. This ability activates when it's hit under half HP and it raises their attack, special attack, and speed by 1 stage while decreasing their defenses by 1 stage. If I'm not careful, this can easily sweep my team. So with that information, you'd think it would just be easy to use Rennala and clean up the fight, right? Well, about that. I had accidentally overleveled him to 18, and now I can't use him for this fight. So now I'm left with Dig on Spider Pig as the only move that will be able to deal super effective damage. This is not gonna be easy. Well, the only thing left to do was challenge the Titan with what I have. So the battle starts. I lead with Spire Pig, being he is the only one that can actually do some damage to this thing. I try Tail Whipping to try and lower his defenses, and he answers with a Vice Grip that does 1/3 of my health. Now, I go with Dig and... It has Rock Smash?! Oh no... Okay, well, Spider Pig did some great damage with it, but he's not going to be able to take another hit from this Klawf. My only choice was to pivot into Phantom to predict the fighting move and maybe chip away at it. And to help with the chipping, I terrestrialized to deal more ghost damage. But after one Astonished, Klawf's ability pops, raising its attack and speed. This is not good. But some saving grace lets the AI choose a move that can attack me. And I'm able to get another Astonish off, which ends the battle. But then I realized I get to team up with Arven to take this thing out, and with his help, this battle was a breeze. Okay, crazy RNG. Did not expect it to be that easy. Oh, he's so happy! And Spider Pig gets to evolve into Oinkalone. Oh! Yeah, it's like Oink and Cologne. And with that, I get the herbs that Arven wants, I get the badge that I want, and he makes me a sandwich, which I just gave to Miraidon, which for some reason made him able to dash. So now I will be able to get around that world much easier. So next up was the Grass Gym Leader Brassius, which was good for me because I have some favorable matchups against the grass. But when I was training up my team for the new level cap, this happened. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on, I was literally AFK. Is that a shiny? Is that a shiny? What the f- There's no chance! So yeah, a full-on shiny, which is a 1 in 4,096 chance, just walked up to me when I was leveling up. I had already caught Joust in this area, but with something called the Shining Claws, I'm allowed to catch a shiny even if I've caught something already in the area. So I got it to half, caught it in a nest ball, named it Radiant. Needless to say, I was very happy. But the happiness would not last long because of this next incoming fight. So for the Grass Gym's challenge, all I had to do was herd up a bunch of 5 FPS Sunflora, and I was allowed to challenge the gym. So easy peasy. So Brassius, the Grass Gym Leader, starts off with his Petalil while I lead with Charles, who is able to actually take down his Petalil and Smoliv together with just a couple embers each. But the real problem arises when he reveals his last Pokemon as Sudowoodo. Now I have really nothing to counter this, because even when he terrestrializes into his Grass type, he still can use his Rock type moves, which would be devastating to my Fire types. So I tried my luck with Joust, and we both terrestrialized into our Fire and Grass types respectively. I'm able to move first and hit with a Fire Spin. That brings it down to half, but he hits me with a super effective Rock Throw that one-shots Joust. And I started panicking and just threw out Charles maybe to see if he could take it out. Charles tries his best and gets another Ember off, but unfortunately can't take it down, left on a sliver of health, and Charles meets the same fate. Fanta comes out knowing what happened to his fallen comrades, and finally takes out the Sudowoodo. I beat the gym, I get my badge. But this victory did not come without sacrifice. Joust and Charles were gone. A moment of silence, please. Time to write their names in the death note. down 2 team members, I need to fill in the rest of the holes for my team. So I headed out to the South Province Area 4 and found a raid den for a Terra Electric Choodle. It did not stand a chance against Spider Pig and Dig. I was able to catch it and I named it Compactor. And when I was heading out to the next Titan, I accidentally ran into a Knackley, but I really didn't know what to name this thing. So I asked a friend if he wanted to name it, and he gave me the name Toastick. So I guess that's her name. Welcome to the team. So next was the Open Sky Titan, and it seemed to be dropping some interesting looking boulders. But I was easily able to make it to the top. Now, this fight was the first pushover of this video, and the Titan kind of just fell to 2 terrestrialized smackdowns thanks to Toastick. And I met up with Arven, and thanks to double the Toastick power, this fight was really easy. So Arven gets his herbs, I get my badge, and Miraidon gets another snack that allows him to jump higher. And we actually learn here why Arven wants these herbs. It's actually to help his sick Mabostiff that was incapacitated in Area 0. And these herbs are Arven's last hope of healing his Mabostiff, and now the story is already better than anything Game Freak has created before. But no matter how much I want to continue that story, I have to start one that I haven't even actually done yet, and that is taking down the Pokemon Mafia of this region, or Team Star. As Cassiopeia, the one who wanted me to take down Team Star in the first place, fills me in on what I need to do. This dude approaches us, and he looks a lot like the old dude from the beginning, but I'm not going to say anything about that. It seemed like he wanted to assist us in the taking down of the Team Star boss. But before I actually entered, Compactor actually evolved into Dreadnought, which is really cool, so that'll help us a lot. Yasumo, I don't know, just call him DJ Vice. So, when I saw this dude, he only has 2 Pokemon. I thought this guy would just be another pushover like that bird. I easily take down his Pawniard with Spider Pig. His next Pokemon is something called a Revavroom. Now, I had no clue what a Revavroom was. All I know is that it would be a dark type, and it turns out it's the car he's standing on. So, oh my god, and it has Intimidate. Okay, this is bad. I tried to use Dig with Spider Pig, but it uses a move called Wicked Torque and... Wait, what? It causes sleep? What? That's overpowered. Okay, I switch out Spider Pig and Rennala comes out, and he does some good damage with Seed Bomb, but again, he won't be able to take another hit if he stays in. I switch out into Toastick and Terrestrialize to get more damage off, but it does very little to the car. This forces me to switch into Compactor, who gets good damage off but takes a metal sound, harshly lowering its special defense. So I swap into Radiant just to immediately swap back into Compactor to finish the fight with Rock Tomb. If the other Team Star bases are as difficult as this one, we're in trouble. Oh hey look, we got a lore dump, yay! Okay, so it turns out this dude was a former student council member, but he created a Discord rules chat that was too strict. He got bullied for it and left the school to join Team Star. But with his car in the repair shop, he gave me his badge and left Team Star. So with that out of the way, our next stop is the electric type gym. But before that, I can actually get some new encounters. I need to think about who I actually want to catch, like really carefully. I have a weak ghost type, 2 grass types, a normal type, a water dark type, and a rock type. Meaning, I have no fighting, poison, steel, grass, electric, dragon, dark, or fairy coverage. So that means I really need to choose this next team member carefully. Is that a dolphin? I'll be the first to admit, that was pretty dumb. I named it Orsha and replaced Compactor with it, and when I was training my team up for the next gym fight, Toastick started to evolve into Stack. Okay, enter Lavencia, probably the best looking town in this game. I head to the gym and I get met by my stalker rival who forces me to battle, but that was no problem at all, kind of a pushover. And as I get to the gym challenge, I'm greeted by this VTuber, takes up my screen. She makes me play Where's Waldo for the challenge. Kinda interesting, but kinda better than battling trainers, I guess. Iona the VTuber leads with her Watcher while I lead with Spider Pig, who completely destroys her Watcher. Then she sends out Belly Bolt, which I answer with Radiant, using a stall combination of Synthesis, Leech Seed, and Razor Leaf, making her Belly Bolt far from a problem. Next up was her Luxio, who also felt the Spider Pig really easily. And the last in her pocket was Miss Magius, whose only ability is Levitate, meaning when she terrestrializes into an electric type, she will have no weaknesses. So I get it started off with a yawn from Spider Pig and swap it to Rennala to take a hit. And here I kind of make a big mistake. I U-turn and switch into Radiant to see if I can use the same strategy I used on her Belly Bolt. But she wakes up and hits me with a Confuse Ray, so I have to swap out into Toastick. And Toastick gets hit with the Charge Beam that kills him. Oh, that was a mistake. In return, I swap into Rennala, terrestrialize, and take it down. And with that, I probably get the best picture out of all of them. And my gym badge, but this is not a time to be happy because we just lost a vital team member. Time to add his name to the death note. Next was the Fire Team Star Leader, which was right around the corner from the gym. But I made a stop to get a new encounter, which would be the Paldean Tauros that I named Rook. And because the next boss is a fire type, I switched out Radiant for Compactor before I challenged it. So Mela leads with her Torkoal that sets the sun, while I lead with Compactor, who takes down her Torkoal with a couple of rock tunes. And as her card comes out, I realize that they like giving these cards some crazy abilities because this one has speed boost, but it didn't really help her at all, and it really couldn't touch Compactor. And with a couple of rock tunes, it just took down the Rev Room. Compactor just soloed the Star Leader, and I couldn't be more proud of him. Lord on time. So looks like for this one, from what I gathered at least, I think the girls were too jealous of how cute she was or something. That's why she was getting bullied. That's why she became a Team Star Leader in the first place. But that's just what I think. Man, they really made her walk like this. She gave me her badge and a firm handshake. And we parted ways. Alright, my next objective is the Lurking Steel Titan in the East Province Area 3. Now, assuming this thing is Steel type, I have a counter for it with Rook, so I can freely choose my nil encounter. In this area, there are actually some pretty good options. Tumbleweeds, Elephant, Fire Doggy. But as soon as I saw a Bagon, I immediately encountered it. Salamence is probably my favorite pseudo-legendary. So, yeah, that one was a no-brainer. Turns out it's a female Bagon, so I named her Dawnstar and rearranged my team with some people I had in the box. Okay, I'm not gonna spend too long on this one because I had a ridiculously strong counter to this in Rook. And after terrestrializing, he took it down in 2 double kicks. I met up with Arven and literally the exact same thing happened, so yeah, this one was a breeze. Arven gets his herbs, I get my badge. Miraidon gets a jump higher, and more importantly, we make progress on the Mabosses, so that's nice. Alright, so next up is the water type gym here in Cascarafa. But when I got to the gym leader kind of just ran out and left. And now my gym challenge was to bring him back, so that's great. But that means I get some new encounters. In the Asado Desert, I catch a Rellor that named Bytel, but it got boxed immediately. And in the West Province area too, I catch a Varoom that I named Tesla that I replaced Spider Pig with. I finally catch up to old dude and hand him his lost wallet, and then he makes me auction for some seaweed. The riding is impeccable. He passes me for the gym challenge, and now I'm able to fight him. Alright, so Kofu sends out his Veluza that breaks the mold, and I lead with Rennala. Both do massive damage to each other, but Rennala's faster, so she picks up the KO. Next matchup was between Rook and his Wug Trio, which gets 3 flinches from Headbutt in a row, and another after he gets double kicked. Thankfully, Rook's able to pick up the KO, but this one could not have been closer. His Aces is Crabominable, and I switch it to Radiant, but thankfully Radiant's able to come on top with 2 Seed Bombs. Plus, Dawnstar actually evolves into Sluggon right after this battle, so that's pretty cool. Plus, I get my badge and a pretty good picture. Not gonna lie, I like this one. So as I head to the next boss, who happens to be the Poison Team Star Leader, I do some leveling to get to the next level cap, and Radiance actually evolves into Go-Goat. Oh, it looks so nice. And as I enter the forest where the base is located, I encounter a Belly Bolt that I gave the name Kermit, and he gets boxed. Fun fact, these are actually not the eyes of Belly Bolt. These are. Apparently the fake guys are used as an intimidation strategy, kind of similar to these guys from Elden Ring. And before I actually challenge the Team Star Leader, I swapped my team around just so I wouldn't have 2 grass types against a poison type leader. Okay, so we're fighting a dude from Naruto. He leads with his Skun tank, who Radiant's able to kill thanks to a speed debuff from Bulldoze. Next up is his Muck, who Radiant gets some good damage on, but won't be able to tank another hit. But I get a free switch into Tesla, since Steel type is immune to poison, and he's able to take it out with a couple of Iron Heads. His next mon is a normal Revavroom, who Spider Pig is able to take out with a dig, and then his actual Revavroom comes out, and is a much bigger problem than his last Revavroom. I switch into Tesla, who resists his attack and gets off a Screech, lowering his defense. Then I switch into Kermit, which does literally no damage and almost dies to poison, so I bring back in Tesla trying to predict another poison move, but it uses Flame Charge and Tesla goes down. I send out Rook to Intimidate to lower its attack while I use Work Up to increase my own attack. Then I use Zen Headbutt, which gets massive damage. This shows its OP ability, Toxic Debris. This ability lays toxic spikes every time I hit it physically, but it doesn't really matter because I'm able to take it down with the next hit. Lore dump again. Looks like this dude made everybody's outfit, which is actually kind of fire. But he got bullied for it because he's good at fashion design, which people don't like, I guess. But we get his badge. He leaves Team Star. But this victory came at a cost. I didn't have Tesla for long, but that doesn't change how useful he's been. Time to add his name to the death note. Well, with that over with, I got spoiled on how to evolve some of the Pokemon in this generation from a YouTube video thumbnail. Specifically how to evolve Bytel here. Apparently, I just need to walk around with him, using a feature which lets you walk around with your Pokemon. After walking around for a little bit, he would just evolve after level up. Now, I know there are no Askers, but my favorite type in Pokemon is the Bug type. Yes, I know it's not a very convenient or strong type to enjoy, but I love their designs, especially in the recent gens, with Golisopod being my favorite Pokemon in the series. But in this generation, I haven't really been attracted to any of the bug types that have been introduced so far. I've kind of been lackluster. So I had my hopes high for whatever this thing would turn into. And boy, did it deliver. This thing is called Rabsca, and its design is amazing. Better than I could have hoped for. But this thing's design isn't the only thing cool about it. Rabsca gets a move called Revival Blessing, which is probably one of the most powerful moves in the series. This move has one power point and can revive a member in your party for free. Now for this Nuzlocke, I'm not going to use it because that's kind of breaks the rules. But for competitive battles, this can be groundbreaking, and I haven't seen many bug types in competitive play as of recently. The last one I can remember is Volcarona, but I would love to see this thing shine. Oh, and I also caught a Ponyo named Uchigatana that I replaced with Compactor, and a Watcho named Charger that I boxed. And Rennala evolved into Meowscarada and learned an overpowered move. Just in case any of you guys wanted the code for the gym challenge, it's grilled rice balls, medium serving, extra crispy, and lemon. Okay, the normal type gym leader Larry, who by the way is the best gym leader in this region, leads with his Kamala while I lead with Rennala, who is able to take it down with a signature move that always lands a critical hit. His next Pokemon is the Dunsparce, and it paralyzes Rennala, who gets a full para hack, so I have to switch out into Uchigatana to tank the hit, but it uses a ground move. Oh boy. I send in Rook, who finishes the Dunsparce off, and his ace is Staraptor, but Kermit is easily able to take it out. I get my badge and some dinner. But it's time to add another name to the death note. With that over with, the Stalker challenges me to a battle yet again, but this one was as simple as the last. Rennala takes out her Lycanroc, Bytel takes out her Goomy, Dawnstar takes out her Pomo, and Rennala comes back to finish off her Quackleval. Better luck next time, Nemona. Time for some new encounters. First I catch a Vigoroth and name it Harambe, for reasons. He gets boxed. I also find a Citadel, which happens to be my favorite first evolution of this gen, and name it Snowball for obvious reasons. So it looks like my next stop is on top of Glaciado Mountain, but to get up there I need to go through this passage, so I guess I'll just cut mid-sentence. Alright, we're here. So before I go to the gym, I make the executive decision to switch out Bytel for Harambe, and I do some training so that Harambe evolves into Slacking, and that Snowball evolves into Titan. For this time's gym challenge, I got a meet and greet with Moist Critical, and he wanted me to gain an audience for the gym leader's concert later by beating up some people. These people include this little kid, this cowpoke, and Moist Critical himself, but they were all kind of just pushovers. I'm not gonna give this gym the time of day. The gym leader in concept was cool, but I kinda just rolled this gym. I kept Harambe and Rennala in the entire time, and they just swept their team, and she could not do a thing about it. But this Greavar was pretty funny. So I got my badge and the tickets to our next concert, and that was about it for this one, honestly. The next boss was in an area I've already been, so there wasn't anything to do in between bosses. So as I encounter the Quaking Earth Titan, I get a call from the professor informing me that this is a Paradox Pokemon, meaning it's from the future. So I should be careful, and then Rook takes out half of its health with one double kick. Got it. And then the same series of events happen. Meet up with Arven, beat it up, Arven gets his herbs, I get a badge, Morano gets a sandwich, and we actually make progress on healing Mabostiff, which is really nice. So that's cool. Alright, looks like the next objective is the Psychic Gym, but to get there I have to go through this huge cave, which means a new encounter. Now for this cave I find a very interesting Pokemon that I haven't seen anywhere else, and his name is Glimmet. And just as I was about to catch it, wow. Okay. That's my encounter for Area 6 down. I'm pissed now. But I could use that as an outlet for this next gym leader. Her gym challenge was 5 FPS Simon Says, seemed to last forever, but I got it done in the end. So, gym time. Okay, so Tulu leads with the awaited evolution of Girafarig for Rigoraph, and I lead with Dawnstar, who's able to take it out with some crunches. Her next Pokemon is Gardevoir, so I swap into Kermit, who's able to get an attack off and paralyzed, but I switch him out predicting a psychic attack, so I bring in Rennala to tank it, but I get a lucky Parahack and Rennala fishes it off. Next is a Lady Gaga Pokemon, Espartha, who Snowball takes out in a close battle, and her ace is Florigis, so I respond with Bytel, and we terrestrialize into Bug and Psychic respectively. This was just a battle of back and forth, but eventually Bytel won us the match. Thankfully this one was much more of a challenge compared to the last 4 bosses I fought. I get my badge and realize that there's only 1 more gym badge, 1 more Titan badge, and 2 more Team Star badges, and then we can move on to the end game, which is where things get exciting. Alright, so next stop is the ice gym on the mountain where the ghost gym was, but I decided to get a new encounter in the North Province, and I ran into a Tinkatuff. And for some reason, they gave this guy the most broken type combination in the game of Steel and Fairy. When you take the best defensive type and pair it with the best offensive type, you get a Pokemon that quite literally can't be bad. So I picked this thing up and named it Warhammer. I also replaced it with Dawnstar since she won't be very helpful in this next gym considering that it's an ice gym. So I head to the gym and complete probably the easiest gym challenge of this game, which is just sledding down the mountain with no obstacles. So here we go. The last gym. Alright, so Snowball kind of just demolishes this Frostmoth off the rip. But I want to say two things before I mention anything more about the battle. Number one, did you guys hear Snowball's cry? That was monstrous, and that's an amazing cry. And number two, this gym leader's a dude. I'm only realizing this now when I'm editing this video, so yeah. But this gym was fairly simple. Snowball takes down the Beartic and half of her own Satitan, and Warhammer comes in and cleans up the Satitan, with her ace being an Altaria, which gets completely just wrecked by Rook. So, easy. And with that, I get my final gym badge, and I'm now ready to challenge the Elite Four, but that will be for later. As I was leveling to the next level cap, Warhammer evolved and is really living up to the name. And I started choking when I saw its signature move. 160 base power. Surely this thing has some crazy drawback. Okay, moving on. The next boss is the Team Star Fairy crew. And it's a new area, so I'll be able to get a new encounter. And it just so happens to be a Gastrodon near the beach. And I name it Sluggon. I put it in place of Rook, and I take on the Fairy Team Star leader. Again, just want to point out, this is also a dude, so, you know. So Snowball gets his attack severely lowered, so I switch him out for Rennala, predicting the water move and finishing it off with the flower trick, no problem. Next up is Wigglytuff that Snowball sits on, and his Doxbun is next, which gets the exact same treatment. Last is his Revavroom, which has, oh my goodness. So I get some damage off with Snowball and pivot into Warhammer, so I could use its signature move, and no, wow, that's what I expected. Okay. I then Terastallize and play rough, but I have a choice to make. Option 1 is to risk it and try to beat the confusion with Gigaton Hammer, but if I get confused, I lose Warhammer, and I'll have to switch into someone else. Or I could swap out, which is the safe one. So I decide on the safer option and swap into Rennala because of its 100% crit. And
You feel my heat
Okay, but seriously, this one hurt a lot. My first Pokemon, the one who's been there since the beginning, I just let down, and it did not feel good. You know what? Just get on with this boss. Warhammer comes in, defeats it. Lord Dump. I get a badge, but none of that is important right now. This death made me realize something, and it's that I do not want any more deaths in this video, unless it's on the enemy team. I now wanted to create the perfect team of Pokemon, but first, I believe it's time to add a name to the Death Note. Alright, Radiant, you have some big shoes to fill. On the topic of changes, I also switch out Sluggon for Dawnstar and Kermit for Charger, who is the Watchel I caught in box about 14 minutes ago in the video. So as I'm trying to find this next Titan, who happens to be the Dragon Titan, I find this massive fish called Dondozo, and this thing is tanky. So I catch it, I name it Bubbles, but that would mean I would have to get rid of someone on my party. I eventually come up with Bytel. After this, I do a little bit more grinding to get to the cap. Charger and Dawnstar both evolve into Kilowattrel and Salamence, and after this, I decide to challenge the Titan. But I kinda had a hard time finding it, but still nothing happened until I interacted with this abnormally large Tatsugiri. Okay, that thing is massive. I started out with Snowball thinking this would be a dragon fight since the Titan is called the False Dragon Titan, but I guess not. So I swap into Radiant and he just completely sweeps this Titan with ease, and it wasn't close. After following it for a bit, I meet up with Arven and I take it down easily, and realize why this is called the False Dragon Titan, because the Tatsugiri that it ate is the actual Titan, but it went down just as fast. And finally, I get to say this for the last time. Arven gets his herbs, I get my badge, Miraidon gets to climb, and we actually get the most wholesome cutscene probably in Pokemon history. But with that done, I get a call from the professor to come to his lab at the lighthouse where I first met Arven. But that'll be for later. I have one last badge to get. But before that gym badge, I have one more encounter in this new area, and this happens again. No chance! Whoa! You're kidding! Well, that's my encounter. But I kinda just boxed it and left it there. fighting type Team Star leader Aerie is the only thing standing between me and my last badge. So to get it started off, Dawnstar is able to one-shot both her Toxicroak and her Annihilate. Although her Lucario becomes a bit of a problem when Charger misses a Hurricane, and he proceeds to take Charger down to half, Warhammer into the red, and Snowball almost into the red until it faints. Next is her Passimian that just spammed close combat, but Dawnstar was able to take it out. And last was the Truck, but thankfully Dawnstar was able to pull through despite it having stamina that raises its defense when it's hit. As for this lore dump, it looked like Aerie was the one who helped with the training and the helping out to resist the bullies. I don't know. What matters is that I got my final badge. But we get a call from Cassiopeia stating that they were the leader of Team Star this entire time. Shocker. So the first of the 3 endings I do is with Arven, and before we head into the lab we get some backstory on him and how his father, who is the professor, never really talks to him, never had really any interaction with him. But with that, he unlocks the lab and we meet the professor, who asks us to come meet him in the deepest part of Area 0. This is also where Arven's Mabostiff got incapacitated, and he wants to make sure that we're ready as well, so he challenges us to a battle. Oh man, this theme kinda goes hard. What's cool about this fight is he uses the Pokemon that we double battle with when we fought the Titans together. So his first Pokemon is Greedent, which Dawnstar is able to take out with 2 Dragon Claws. The next matchup is between Garganacl and Bubbles, who's able to get the upper hand thanks to a Stone Edge miss. Then his Toadscruel comes out, which gets one-shot by Snowball. Next up is his Scovillain and Cloyster, who get one-shot by Charger. And the last up to the plate is his Mabostiff, who we take out with Warhammer, and this fight's over. So after realizing I'm the greatest trainer ever, Arven says he's ready to head to Area 0 and tells me to meet him up there at the entrance. And that's when the first story's done. So the next story I decide to finish is to meet up with Cassiopeia and finish Team Star. But Director Clavell gets in my way saying that he's Cassiopeia, which I didn't believe at all. But I guess we have to fight him. So this guy's kind of a pushover for my team. His Oranguru falls to Dawnstar, his Abomasnow and Gyarados both get one-shotted by Charger. Dawnstar takes out the Poltergeist, and Snowball takes out the Among Us. But I run into a problem when he reveals his last Pokemon is Skeledirge. I don't know what that is, because this was a blind run. So I send in Warhammer thinking that would be the right choice, but I realized that I was definitely wrong when he reveals that it was Fuecoco's final evolution. So I pivot into Bubbles, and after some back and forth, we take the victory over Clavell. Oh wow, you're not Cassiopeia? No, it wasn't. So our next mon is an Umbreon who just spams Baby Doll Eyes, so I take it out with Warhammer. And our next Pokemon is Flareon. Oh, she has an evolution team. Well, that's cool, but kind of free for my team. But oh my goodness, do you guys hear this battle theme? Hold up, I'm about to put a funny ray flip here. Now that that's done, I just counterpick every mon she has and this battle's over. To finish the story off, the Team Star leaders meet their leader, and they get sentenced to 5 years in prison. Community service, and Clavell promises to look deeper into the bullying problem. So that's a nice ending, I like that one. And then last but not least is the Path of Champions. As I entered the room, I get met with a quiz for some reason, where I have to answer a couple questions. One of them being who was the hardest gym leader in my opinion. Of course I say the grass one because he's responsible for 2 deaths. After this quiz, I'm allowed to enter the arena to face the Elite Four. First up was Rika, the ground type Elite Four member, and she leads with her Whiscash while I lead with Dawnstar, who gets off a Dragon Claw but almost gets one-shot by a Blizzard. Not a very good start. But Snowball's able to take out her Dawnfan, and Bubbles is able to take care of her Camerupt and Doug Trio. Bust is her Ace Clodsire, and after we both Terrasilize, Snowball is easily able to take it down. Alright, bring on the next Elite Four member. Oh boy. Okay, so next is this little girl Poppy. I don't even know how she got Pokemon. Oh my god, she's a Steel type. Alright, well, this is kind of scary because I don't have any stab counters for Steel, but we just have to push forward. Dawnstar's able to take out her Copperaja and her Corviknight with Fire Fang. Radiant takes out her Magnezone with Bulldoze, and Warhammer takes out her Bronzong with Knockoff. Grace is her own Tikaton, but Radiant makes quick work of it. Alright, that's 2 down, 2 more to go. Who's next? Oh my god, it's Larry! Alright, so my favorite gym leader returns as the flying type Elite Four member. So he sends out his Tropius, but it immediately goes down to Dawnstar. As with his Altaria to Warhammer, and Charger takes out his Staraptor from the very first gym. But his Oricorio actually puts up a good fight, almost taking out Snowball, but Snowball's able to beat the confusion and take it down. I really thought his ace would be a Kilowattrel, but out comes Flamingo. So Charger takes it down with ease. And on to the last Elite Four member. And of course it's a Dragon type trainer. Despite the scary typing, I came prepared with 3 counters for this very situation. With that, Dawnstar, Snowball, and Warhammer completely just sweep this guy. That is the Elite Four down for the count. Whew. Okay, time for the champion. She leads with her Esparta while I lead with Dawnstar is able to take it down to the red, but it gets a dazzling gleam off and takes Dawnstar down to half. Her next Pokemon's a Veluza, so Charger easily takes this one out with a discharge. Then she sends out a King Gambit, the evolution of Bisharp, but it's nothing a couple of body presses won't take out. Then she sends out her own Go-Goat, which I thought it would be funny to do a Go-Goat Ditto battle, but I forgot about Go-Goat's Sap Sipper ability, so I get it out of there quick and switch into Snowball, who takes it out. Next up is her Avalugg, which doesn't make a dent before it gets taken out by a Warhammer. And last up is her Ace Glamora, so after she terrestrializes, I quickly get Charger out of there by Volt switching into Warhammer, who finished this fight off with a Gigaton Hammer. Final rival battle starts off with the Reikenlock getting one-shot by a Horn Leech from Radiant. Next is her Goodra, which also gets one-shot. Her Palmout comes out and oh wow, almost takes out Radiant and then gets one-shot. Next is the Dunsparce. What is it? This is actually a pretty interesting team, but with some back and forth with Bubbles, it takes it out. And Orthworm is her next mon. Wow, this is actually a really interesting team, but it falls to Dawnstar, and last is her Quackle. Oh wow, okay. We're fine. We're fine. We won. We won the game. Almost did not get one shot by that. It's okay. Man, I thought I was done, but nope. I quite literally completely forgot that we needed to go to Area 0. I literally thought as soon as I beat the champion and my rival that I was done, but I literally forgot. So, oh hey, I wonder who the two people Arven found to help us are. I wonder if it's Nemona and Penny. Oh hey, look at that, it's Nemona and Penny. Now, as for getting down to Area 0, we really only have one option. That's just unnecessarily dangerous. Whoa, whoa, Arven, watch where you're touching, bro. Hey, yo. Alright, finally here. The Greater Crater of Paldea, Area 0. Now, if I remember correctly, the professor wanted us to meet him at the bottom, so... Oh, wow. Well, we have a ways to go. But with the power of editing, I will now cut to when something interesting happens mid-sentence. So we find an old research facility and then get attacked by a Glamora that Nemona one-shots. Cool. This was about a 12-minute cut from the last clip to this one, so if that doesn't tell you how massive this area is, I don't know what will. But as we get to the second research station, Penny gets attacked by a future Delibird, so using the power of friendship, Bubbles and her Umbreon are able to take it down. After this, Bubbles learns a 120 power water move, meaning it has stab, and its only drawback is that it takes recoil damage. What are these moves that these Pokemon are getting? In the next research station, we get attacked by a future Donphan, but we've already seen this one, so, next. As we enter the underground portion, we get a cutscene that kinda just shows how much further we have to go, because this place is massive. So we finally make it to the bottom of Area 0, and we have to open the door to get to the professor, but he warns us saying that when we open it, we will get attacked by the future Pokemon. But this was kinda just a pushover, so on to the professor. So here we learn that the professor we are talking to is not actually the original professor, just a robot. The original professor died in an incident with the Paradox Pokemon, and now the robot needs my help to deactivate the time machine that's bringing all the Paradox Pokemon here. But trying to do so will incite the professor and he will engage in battle. So, this is only one thing left to do. Man, that cutscene was unbelievably cool. So his lead is a future Volcarona, which does massive damage to Dawnstar using Sludge Wave, but Dawnstar kicks it into high gear and takes out with a Dragon Claw. Next up is his future Delibird, who sets up the snow, raising its defense, but for some reason it felt the need to keep setting the snow, so Warhammer punishes it for its mistakes. Next up is his future Tyranitar, who is an electric rock type, but of course I didn't know this, so I had Bubbles take it on. It punches Bubbles hard, so I switch him out for Radiant, who takes it out with an Earthquake. Next up is a future Hydreigon, who deals some massive damage to Charger. But of course Charger comes through and one-shots it. Up next is his future Hariyama, who is super tanky. So I Intimidate swap with Dawnstar until it could barely touch Warhammer, so it's able to freely take it out. After this, he hypes up his last Pokemon, and understandably so, because this thing looks fire. So I Intimidate it with Dawnstar and swap into Warhammer, who thinks it would be a good idea to miss a play rough in this situation. So I swap her out for Snowball, who ice spins until she gets low, and then rests to get her HP back to max and eats his Chesto Berry to wake up. And after this, it was over. Well, at least I thought it was over. Now I just can't use my Pokemon, and I wipe. No, I'm kidding. But I try battling, I try running, I try going to my bag, but nothing's in there for me. But of course, there's one Pokemon that I can send out. Well, this is not how I expected things to go down here. But as I check Miraidon's moves, there's really nothing I can do to put out significant damage against this thing, so I just use Power Gem, and it does a measly amount in comparison to when it uses Power Gem, and it takes out half my health. So obviously I missed something. But his next move is Hyper Beam, that takes me down to 1 HP, and now I'm really out of options. Oh, here we go. So I Terrasilize into a Dragon type, and Terra Blast takes out the opposing Miraidon. And now it was truly over. The time machine was stopped. We walk into the sunset, and Ed Sheeran plays in the credits. Hi. And this is to anyone who makes it actually to the end of this video. You know, this video could have 2 views in a week. But I just want to say this is my first time putting out anything this heavily edited and Pokemon related. So I hope it was alright. and that you enjoyed compared to other people's content on this platform. Although it can't be worse than, you know, short spamming, but whatever. Roll the outro.